Alright, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm here to bring you my WWE No Mercy 2016 predictions. Of course, No Mercy 2016 is live this Sunday night on the WWE Network, and it is live from, I don't know the name of the arena, but it is coming, it is live, emanating from Sacramento, California in the Bay Area. Of course, if you know me, I'm from the Bay Area, and I'm excited for No Mercy 2016, not just because of the build for the show, which has been great for the most part, but of course, because like I just said, the show is going to be live in Sacramento, California, and I'm pretty much going to No Mercy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this show live, and just, getting to see a few of my favorite SmackDown superstars, and it's just going to be awesome. This is the first pay-per-view I've been to in the Bay Area since, of course, WrestleMania 31 last year. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right down to these predictions. Our first match is on the Kickoff show, and it's a rematch from last night on SmackDown, Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. The match they had on SmackDown was pretty solid. That finish, though, where the referee made the bad call and thought that Baron Corbin tapped out to the Patriot lock, ankle lock. That finish, I think they did it mainly so they could protect Baron Corbin, but also protect Jack Swagger, if you guys get what I'm saying. Because, Swagger made a SmackDown debut. You don't want him to lose on a SmackDown debut, but then you want to keep Baron Corbin strong because, of course, you want to build him to be a strong monster in the future and an eventual WWE World Championship contender. But as far as this match goes on the Kickoff, to quote what Zach Brown said on Twitter, poor Corbin, he keeps getting put on the Kickoff show, which is true. When was the last time Baron Corbin was actually on the main card of a pay-per-view? I think, if I'm correct, it was Money in the Bank or Battleground. I don't remember, but yeah, Corbin does need to be put on the main card in the future. But for this show, I'm going to predict he beats Jack Swagger. I just don't see Jack Swagger beating Baron Corbin twice in a row. It's going to be interesting to see what SmackDown does with him in terms of rebuilding him or whatnot. But for this match, I'm going with Baron Corbin. Like I said, I feel like he needs the win. I feel like the win is more important to him than Jack Swagger. So for the Kickoff show, I'm predicting Baron Corbin. Now on the main show, we have the return of Curt Hawkins. I don't know if he's going to come out and cut a promo or if he's going to wrestle against a local talent. We'll see how that plays out. But as far as confirmed matches for the main card, we'll start off with Nikki Bella versus Carmella. I've liked the build to this match. I've been really impressed with how Carmella has been doing as a heel. I think she did fine as a face on NXT. But as a heel, I think she's been doing really well, especially against Nikki Bella. She's had Nikki Bella's number on multiple occasions. She eliminated Nikki Bella from the six-pack challenge at Backlash for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She pinned Nikki Bella last week on SmackDown in a tag match. So they're really building Carmella up strong. And it's funny because when Carmella got called to the main roster, I didn't think she was going to do as well because on NXT they were building her seemingly towards an NXT Women's Championship run, but so far she's done well on the main roster on SmackDown, and that is a testament to what they're doing with their women on SmackDown. They're giving all the women on SmackDown a chance to shine, and they've been doing well building Carmella. So this match was rumored to be a no disqualification match, which I would have liked to have seen. That would have been different, but it's just a regular singles match. No problem with that. I mean, I would have preferred it be a no disqualification match, considering all the little cat fights and not cat fights, but all the little fights they've had in the past, the interaction and whatnot. But not making a big deal over it. For this match, I could see Nikki Bella winning and finally getting one over on Carmella, but I think the logical thing would be to have Carmella beat Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella really doesn't need many, I know I've said this with other superstars, but Nikki Bella really doesn't need many pay-per-view wins now. She's like, I almost call her Natalie. Natalya, they're the veterans on SmackDown, on the SmackDown women's roster. You could even call Becky Lynch a veteran, so to speak. But yeah, Nikki Bella really doesn't need many pay-per-view wins. I think in this instance, the win should really go to Carmella. So I'm predicting Carmella to win because I could eventually see her challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship before the end of the year. Or if they really want to build her up strong and want to hold off until Royal Rumble, I could see her challenging for the title then. So my prediction for this match is Carmella. Next, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Beauty and the Man Beast defending against the Usos. I've said this multiple times. The Usos are doing a standout job as heels. They're killing it as heels. You know, this was way overdue, and they finally made their heel turn, and they've just been killing it. This mean streak is awesome. You know, I said that if they had actually beaten Rhino and Slater last month at Backlash, that would have been huge. I would have got him like nuclear heel heat, because that would have ended Heath Slater's Cinderella story, you know, his attempts to win a SmackDown Live contract. But I did say, along with Tommy CB, that we could see, you know, Rhino and Slater winning to give them that feel-good moment, which I had no problem with. But this time, I think it's the right time to give Usos the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You know, like I said, we have to enjoy Beauty and the Man Beast title reign while it lasts, because I don't see them being champions that much longer. So I gotta believe this is the right time for the Usos to strike and win the championship. So I'm gonna predict the Usos will walk away as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Like I said, they've been doing really well as heels. They've been killing it. And you know, this thing with them and American Alpha, this feud that's been going on for a little while, I believe SmackDown's getting the TLC pay-per-view, so I think the perfect thing to do is have the Usos win the championships here at No Mercy, then do a match with American Alpha at Survivor Series, or do a triple threat, or do a triple threat tag team match at Survivor Series. Have it look like American Alpha is going to win, and then the Usos, you know, weasel their way to victory, and then you can do a TLC match where American Alpha finally gets one up on the Usos. I think that'd be perfect. I'm looking forward to what happens in the future with these teams, because they're right now the 3 top teams on SmackDown. You know, Beauty and the Man Beast, the Usos, and American Alpha. But getting back to my match prediction, I'm going to go with the Usos to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And that's one other thing I want to say about SmackDown, guys. You know, lately I've been praising SmackDown because they've been doing everything right, pretty much. You know, they're building up their talent properly. They're building up these feuds properly. You know, certain matches leave you questioning what's going to happen. It's not necessarily predictable. You know, you get to a point where you're like, okay, you know, this person could win, but also this person could win, excuse me, like with the Nikki Bella Carmella feud. You know, I could see Nikki Bella winning, but I could really see Carmella winning, because I feel like she could benefit from the victory more, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I love about SmackDown, you know, the fact that it's a 2-hour show. It goes by fast. You get good to solid shows every week. Of course, I'm still waiting to get some great SmackDown shows. We did get a couple great SmackDown shows recently. But yeah, I'm just happy with how everything's been working out on SmackDown. And look at what they're doing with the Usos, having them go after Beauty and the Man Beast for the tag team championships, and how the Usos have been they've just been exhibiting this great mean streak as of late with this heel run. I'm loving it, and I'm just looking forward. That's why I love tuning in to SmackDown on Tuesdays. So getting back to my predictions, next up we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch defending against Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, another one who's doing really well as a heel. She's killing it. I love it. And I feel like Alexa is very underrated. She's been holding it down on SmackDown recently, but I feel like before she got to SmackDown, she was very underrated. And I still think she's a little underrated. That makes her a dark horse on the SmackDown women's roster. The feud with her and Becky has been very good for the most part. You know, I honestly thought last month at Backlash in the 6-pack women's challenge, it would have come down to Becky and Alexa, excuse me, in the finals to determine the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion. I thought they would have been the final 2, but it ended up going between, or it ended up between Becky and Carmella, excuse me. And of course, Becky won the championship, and that was well deserved. And you know, I said this with Daniel Garza. We're doing, I believe it was when we were talking about when I was a guest on the Garza Wrestling Report. I was talking about that I do see Alexa Bliss becoming SmackDown Women's Champion in the future. It could happen at No Mercy, but I really just don't see them taking the championship off of Becky Lynch that early. So my prediction is Becky Lynch to retain the championship, but I do want Alexa Bliss to have a hell of a breakout moment in this match. I want her to put on one of her best performances, maybe as of now her best career performance against Becky Lynch. And then, you know, that'll have people talking and be like, oh, wow, did you see the Becky Lynch-Alexa Bliss match? Like, you see Alexa Bliss, she came out like fire. She put up a hell of a performance. You know, this girl, she's destined to be champion. I want that to happen. And I'm sure these two are going to go out there and put on a good to really good women's match. My prediction, like I said, is Becky Lynch to retain. I just want Alexa Bliss to have one hell of a standout performance, one hell of a breakout performance, and a performance that establishes her as one of the future leaders of the women's division and a future SmackDown Women's Champion or Raw Women's Champion, wherever she goes, but a future Women's Champion. You get what I'm saying? Next, we have Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Now, this has no stipulation as of now, and I really felt like this should have been a last man standing match based on what happened at Backlash and based on how this feud has been built. This feud, you know, like I said on Daniel's podcast when I was a guest, when they called off the match at Backlash because Randy Orton hadn't been medically cleared to wrestle, I felt like that was a blessing of sorts because then they could really do a good job building up the feud some more and getting us hyped for No Mercy, this match that's going to happen Sunday night. And, you know, for the most part, this feud's been good. I feel like this feud can be better. Just like with the build-up for the original match at Backlash, I feel like it's been good build, but it could be better. Now, granted, the last couple of weeks, the build for this match has been really good. You know, Randy Orton going through Bray Wyatt's maze, so to speak, to find him, and, you know, Bray Wyatt with the sand in the hourglass and talking about how Randy Orton's time is up, and Randy Orton coming from behind and catching, you know, Bray Wyatt off guard while wearing Eric Rowan's sheet mask, and then the whole thing with him sitting in Bray's rocking chair and singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." That was great stuff. And then yesterday with Orton locking Wyatt in that metal case, and then Bray Wyatt just, you know, showing us a creepier side of him by talking to himself and, you know, asking for Sister Abigail to release him, and then Orton opening the metal crate and find out that Wyatt has escaped. I feel like that's going to unleash an eerier, creepier, and more dangerous side of Bray Wyatt. And honestly, Bray Wyatt needs this win badly. I thought they were going to have a match at Backlash, and of course, they wrote in storyline that Orton got attacked by Wyatt and he couldn't make it, so Wyatt won by forfeit. But then Orton cost Wyatt his match against Kane that was impromptu. And the one thing, that's the only one thing with SmackDown that I don't like is Bray Wyatt's booking. You know, SmackDown's been doing everything else right, but I just feel like Bray deserves better. And I even got that hashtag. I tweeted that hashtag on Twitter following Bray's loss to Kane on SmackDown, or at Backlash, excuse me. And I really feel like Bray Wyatt needs to be built up stronger. He deserves better. So the best way to do that is to have Bray beat Randy Orton at No Mercy. Again, I would have preferred that this be a last man standing match because these guys could have just torn each other apart. I felt like that would have been the perfect feud for this match, or a Falls Count Anywhere match, or a no holds barred match. You know, any kind of stipulation match where it's no DQ and they can just beat the hell out of each other. But I really feel like Bray Wyatt needs to win this, and I could see Randy Orton winning, and there's something inside me saying Randy Orton is going to win, but I'm going to predict Bray Wyatt because, like Daniel Gaiza has said before, like Daniel and I have mentioned, we could see the possibility of Luke Harper returning and aiding Wyatt in his victory over Randy Orton. You know, Luke Harper has been cleared for a return. He was at the Performance Center recently. I think this is the perfect place to bring Luke Harper back, to have him, you know, aid Bray Wyatt in this feud with Randy Orton. Eric Rowan is out with injury, so now you can have Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper reunite, and then when Rowan is cleared to wrestle, he comes back to SmackDown, and you got the Wyatts reunited on SmackDown fully. The original Wyatt family, I should say, before Braun Strowman got added to the group. Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfect. Luke Harper returning at No Mercy, aiding Bray Wyatt in the victory over Randy Orton, and then you rebuild Bray and eventually put him in the title hunt, you know, because Bray Wyatt, it baffles me that he's been with the company for 3 years now. He's been on the main roster for 3 years, and he's never gotten one championship match other than the Money in the Bank match where it was for the vacant WWE World Championship, you know, so my gut's saying Randy Orton's going to win, but I'm predicting Bray Wyatt to win. I feel like Luke Harper could really be the difference maker in this match if he returns and helps Bray beat Randy Orton. And I just feel like Bray needs this victory a lot more than Randy Orton does. You know, like I said, hashtag Bray deserves better. So I'm predicting Bray Wyatt to win. I could see Randy Orton win. Like I said, there's something in me saying that Orton will get the win, but I'm predicting Bray Wyatt to win, and I hope Luke Harper returns on Sunday. Because like I said, Bray deserves better, guys, and he really needs this win. So my prediction is Bray Wyatt. I'm going to be praying and rooting for Bray to win Sunday at No Mercy. Next, we have the title versus career match. The Miz defending the Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler. To me, guys, this has been the best booked match for this entire show. This is the best feud going right now on the main roster. The Miz is just freaking awesome. I've said it multiple times recently. He's just awesome as the Intercontinental Champion. I personally feel that he should go at least a year. He should hold on to the Intercontinental Championship until at least a couple days after he won it this year, the night after WrestleMania. Like he should hold on to it until the week after WrestleMania. So he can be a year-long Intercontinental Champion. He's just been doing great things with the Intercontinental Championship. Hell, my friend WAPW wants Miz to break the Honky Tonk Man's record as Intercontinental Champion. And you know what? I'm totally for that. I'm totally for the Miz breaking the Intercontinental Championship record of the Honky Tonk Man. Now, with that said, I would obviously be rooting, you know, for the Miz to beat Dolph Ziggler and retain the Intercontinental Championship. You know, this one, I could really see this one going either way. They could give the championship to Ziggler. He could have one more feel-good moment because, of course, the rumor is that his contract's due to expire and he may not sign a new contract. He may not renew his contract with WWE. Then again, I could see the Miz winning and retaining the championship and ultimately ending Ziggler's career at No Mercy. You know, it's kind of crazy when you think about it because I do want the Miz to win, but if he does win, that'll end up being Dolph Ziggler's last match in the WWE. You know, I could be witness to Dolph Ziggler's very last match in WWE. So this one, they've really done a lot of great booking and building towards No Mercy with regards to this match. You know, this is one of those matches where it's really hard. I don't want to say it's really hard, but it's a 50-50 match. Dolph Ziggler could end up winning the Intercontinental Championship one more time, preserving his career, or the Miz could end up beating Dolph Ziggler, retaining the Intercontinental Championship, and ultimately end Ziggler's career. So, you know, I like Dolph Ziggler, but I really want the Miz to hold on to the Intercontinental Championship and keep going with his 100 whatever plus day. I think he said 170 plus day reign as Intercontinental Champion. I want to see the Miz go a full year as the Intercontinental Champion. If he drops it after losing the championship, if he drops the championship after WrestleMania, you know, a full year after he won it at WrestleMania 32, I'll be fine with that. But of course, I want to see the Miz try and break Honky Tonk Man's record as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. But for now, with what's at stake, I like Dolph Ziggler. And like I said, it's crazy to think that I could be in that arena live Sunday witnessing Dolph Ziggler's last match for the WWE. And then again, I want the Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship and to continue his, you know, his 170 plus day reign as the Intercontinental Champion. So, like I said, there's part of me that could see Dolph Ziggler winning the Intercontinental Championship, but mainly because I want to see Miz continue that long reign as Intercontinental Champion and eventually, you know, hopefully go a full year as the Intercontinental Champion. My prediction is the Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship and sadly end Dolph Ziggler's career in WWE. You know, this is going to be one hell of a match. It's going to be quite an emotional match. The Miz TV segment with the Dolphumentary last night was awesome. I mean, that was just great. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if WWE 24 actually does produce a documentary on Ziggler's last night in the company at No Mercy should he lose. So, you know, like I said, I like Dolph Ziggler, but I'm predicting The Miz will retain the Intercontinental Championship. I want to see him retain the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, it will be at the cost of Dolph Ziggler's career, but when you think about it, guys, his career set, his contract set to expire. I don't think he plans on renewing his contract. He really hasn't been used. He really hasn't been that relevant in quite some time, which is unfortunate because Ziggler's a hell of a worker. He's a hell of a performer and a workhorse. But I honestly see The Miz retaining the title and sadly ending Ziggler's career at not WrestleMania, at No Mercy. So I'm gonna predict The Miz will win. I thought this would have also been a stipulation match, like a steel cage match, to prevent Maryse from getting involved. This is like I said, this match and Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, they could have really benefited from stipulation matches. I'm not saying that the matches are gonna suck without stipulations, but I feel like Orton versus Wyatt should have been last man standing just so they could kick the crap out of each other. Miz versus Ziggler, I feel like a steel cage match would have been fitting because one way or another, The Miz is going to have to do this on his own. And if he beats Dolph Ziggler, if Dolph Ziggler loses, at least he loses on his shield, trying to go all out to, preserve his career and regain the Intercontinental Championship. But like I said, guys, this has the potential to be the match of the night. This has the potential to steal the show. I think this will be the most emotional match of the card with everything that's on the line. I'm just really looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to all the matches on the card. Even the kickoff show. Well, I'm not really looking forward to the Baron Corbin Jack Swagger match, but again, this is a testament to why SmackDown's a great show, why I still think it's the A show. Yes, I'll give credit to Raw for putting on a very good show Monday night. I didn't watch it, but I've heard, some very positive things about it, especially the Women's Championship match with Sasha and Charlotte, how they closed the show. But I still think SmackDown's the A show. And that's why I'm excited for No Mercy. With how well they've built this show, we know what direction we're going in. And I'm really looking forward to this match for the Intercontinental Championship. It could end up being Dolph Ziggler's very last match in the WWE. I could end up being there live to see it in person. It's going to be crazy. But in the end, like I said, prediction-wise, I picked The Miz to retain the championship. Real quick, I've been checking the chat box, and thank you, John McDermott, for all your comments. Let me get to those real quick before I predict the main event. Just like I said, Roz Bieber, yes. Do you like my new profile picture? Yes, it's a cool skull with the American flag. That's really cool. That's a really cool design and icon, John. So kudos to you. She is the best thing about SmackDown. Becky Lynch or Alexa Bliss? You mean Alexa, right? Either way, Becky and Alexa, they're great on SmackDown. That would be nice. That obviously you're referring to, I think, Luke Harper returning to help Bray Wyatt defeat Randy Orton. And then you say you're also really looking forward to the Intercontinental Championship match. Yeah, man, I think it could be the match of the night. With everything that's on the line, I think it could be match of the night, one of the best matches of the year. Ziggler and Miz had a great Intercontinental Championship match at Backlash. I thought that was the match of the night. They had a very good rematch on SmackDown. They've had good matches in the past. I was there live for their SummerSlam match when Ziggler beat Miz for the championship in 2014. That was a good opener. So I really feel like if this is their last match together, they're going to really go all out, and they're going to just go out there and put on a hell of a match. Like, if this is the final match between these two in the WWE, then this could ultimately be the best match of their entire feud of the history they've had with each other over the past 2 years. So I'm really looking forward to that match as well. And finally, guys, we get to the main event, a triple threat match for the WWE World Championship. The champion AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp, defending against John Cena and Dean Ambrose. I'm really looking forward to this match as well. I can't believe that AJ Styles is the champion. He's bringing the championship to the Bay Area. He's walking into Sacramento as champion, and I'll just give you my prediction right now. I believe he's walking out of No Mercy still the WWE World Champion. The build-up to this has been great. When Cena returned on SmackDown, I didn't expect it, but it's great to see SmackDown continue the feud that Cena and AJ have, by inserting Cena into this championship picture. I honestly thought it was going to be just Styles and Ambrose in a singles rematch here, something like a street fight or no holds barred or falls count anywhere where Ambrose could get Styles in his environment. But adding Cena, I think, is great because I love what they've been doing with John Cena and Dean Ambrose. You know, Ambrose calling out Cena for being a part-timer, Cena calling out Ambrose for not stepping up his game and for, you know, I don't want to say making excuses, but complaining about this and that. It's great. And the best part about this triple threat match is everybody has something to prove in this match. AJ Styles, of course, he's the champion. He's the face that runs the place. He's the champ that runs the camp. He's fighting for his legacy in the sense of he's fighting to retain the championship. John Cena is fighting for history because he wants to tie Ric Flair's record for 16 world championships, something that's unprecedented, you know. And I've honestly been against John Cena tying Ric Flair's record because I feel like Ric Flair's record of 16 world championships should never be touched in the sense of no one ever tying it or even breaking it, you know. And I understand, yes, it's John Cena. He is WWE's poster boy. He's been the face of the company for more than 10 years now. And, you know, it's most likely going to happen. Cena will win a 16th world championship. But I just feel like Ric Flair should be the only one that has the distinction of being recognized as the only 16-time world champion in professional wrestling history. The only man to ever win 16 world championships throughout his career. That is unprecedented. But Cena will pretty much tie that record. But I always felt like Ric Flair's record should never be tied, should never even be broken. You know, he should be the only man to ever win 16-time world champions. Or, yeah, 16 world championships. The only man to ever win 16 world champions is you know, colorful and legendary career. And then there's Dean Ambrose, who still has a bone to pick with AJ Styles because AJ pretty much stole the championship from him at Backlash when he hit him with that low blow. And he also has something to prove to John Cena. He doesn't like John Cena. He told John Cena, you get in my face or disrespect me, you know, I'll beat you down. I'll put you down. And Dean Ambrose has something to prove. And ultimately, I'm picking AJ Styles to win because I can see John Cena or Dean Ambrose laying one another out and then AJ getting the upper hand and capitalizing and stealing the victory with the 1-2-3 or whatever, you know. And I ultimately see what's going on between Cena and Ambrose, especially after last night when Ambrose owned Cena. Pretty much Ambrose and AJ owned Cena on the mic in that triple threat face-off. But I pretty much see what happened leading to a huge match between Cena and Ambrose at Survivor Series. Now, yes, we did get it on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and I am one who believes big matches like that should not be given away for free on TV. But it was done because it helps enhance the triple threat match. And I think it's going to ultimately help build toward the Cena-Ambrose match at Survivor Series. That's what's great about this triple threat match. The build, the little interactions between Cena and Ambrose, it does lead. It's been building toward this match, the triple threat match. But that's ultimately going to lead to, that's ultimately going to be leading toward the big match at Survivor Series between these two, which I honestly think Dean Ambrose should win, but that's another story for a different prediction video. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match. You know, triple threat rules, no disqualifications, no countouts. I'm so excited to see these guys live in person. I'm excited to see AJ Styles live for the very first time, believe it or not. I've seen AJ on TV. I've seen his work in TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm very excited to see AJ Styles in person at No Mercy Sunday in Sacramento. But I got to go with the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place to retain the championship. Like I said, I see either Cena or Ambrose. Like, I see one of them hitting the other with a finisher, and then AJ Styles coming from behind and capitalizing and scoring the victory and pretty much stealing the victory as well. And, you know, leaving Sacramento still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So I'm very excited for this match. Like I said, guys, I'm very excited for the show in general. I have, you know, this show has the potential to be really good to great with all the matches on here and all the build that's gone into them. And, you know, once again, guys, that's why I love SmackDown Live so much, is the effort they put into their shows and the character development and everything, storytelling, storyline progression, and huge props go to Ryan Ward. He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job writing SmackDown every week, and I'm just loving it. And I'm so excited to go to No Mercy on Sunday. My first live WWE event since WrestleMania 31 last year at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. So very excited for this show, guys. And to recap my predictions, I have on the kickoff show, Baron Corbin to defeat Jack Swagger. And then on the main show, Curt Hawkins, if he has a match, he's going to win it, no doubt. But as far as the confirmed matches for this card go, my predictions are Carmella, the Usos to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Becky Lynch to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bray Wyatt, The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship, and unfortunately, end Dolph Ziggler's career, and AJ Styles to retain the WWE World Championship. Now, remember, Victor, Guy in Green, WWE, tweeted Apollo Crews and said he hopes to see Apollo Crews wrestle on Sunday because Apollo Crews he was born in Sacramento, so he is Bay Area born and bred. If Apollo Crews is on the show, that'd be great because I love Apollo Crews. I've never seen him live, before, so that'd be great. And the whole thing with Curt Hawkins debuting makes me think maybe they'll face off at No Mercy, but I hope that's not the case because I don't want Apollo Crews to keep losing. He's another one that I feel like needs to get better booking on SmackDown because he has potential to be a great Intercontinental Champion and World Heavyweight Champion, but he keeps losing, and that's the one thing that I hate. SmackDown does a lot of things right, but there are some things that they don't do right. Nobody's perfect. SmackDown's not perfect. Raw obviously is not perfect, but SmackDown does a lot of things right. But the two things that I do have a problem with are the booking of Apollo Crews and Bray Wyatt. That's it. Everything else about SmackDown I love. I hope Bray and Apollo do bounce back, get some big victories before the end of the year, and eventually we can put them in title contention in 2017. But that'll pretty much do it, guys, for my No Mercy 2016 predictions. I think I almost hit the 30-minute mark, and I felt like maybe I was gonna hit the 20-minute mark for once, but hey, I love doing prediction videos. John McDermott says, hope you have fun. Thank you, John. Definitely looking forward. I'll be taking pictures. Push Baron Corbin. Yes, push Baron Corbin. I feel like they'll do a good job with him on SmackDown. That's why he needs to beat Jack Swagger first. And then when Kalisto comes back, put them in a feud, have Corbin beat Kalisto, and then build him up toward an eventual world title shot. Because I don't really see him challenging for the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, push Baron Corbin. Definitely push the Lone Wolf. John also says, Dean Ambrose has been my favorite since I started watching in 2014. Ambrose is great, but I feel like a heel turn against John Cena is necessary in their feud, but Ambrose is great. And what Ambrose said last night is true. He's been in the company for a few years now. He's wrestled more matches than Cena has recently, hasn't been injured, hasn't taken sick days or anything like that. And I respect Dean Ambrose for his achievement, for his work ethic. And that's what I think makes him and John Cena perfect for each other because they're polar opposites. So that just further adds, fuel to the fire of the triple threat match. It's going to further add fuel to the fire for their match at Survivor Series. All these comments are from John McDermott. Yes, John, you are the only one I believe in this chat, but thank you for watching. I appreciate that you're always like the first pretty much to get to the chat. And he predicts Cena to win. Now that I think about it, Cena could win. And then they could do Cena versus Ambrose for the championship at Survivor Series. But honestly, with all the momentum, not John Cena, but all the momentum that AJ Styles has been building recently, especially after winning the championship, I don't see AJ losing the championship soon. I could see him losing it at Royal Rumble or maybe WrestleMania, because eventually he's going to cross paths with Cena one more time in a singles match, and that's probably when he's going to finally lose to Cena and ultimately drop the belt. But yeah, I mean, what if John Cena does win the championship at No Mercy? And what if they do him and Ambrose at Survivor Series for the championship? That's crazy. See, I don't want to say the triple threat match is predictable because AJ is going to most likely retain. But then look at that. What if Cena wins? What if Ambrose wins? What if Ambrose wins the championship? Then he goes into Survivor Series as champion, and he could defend the title against Cena. So, each guy has a 33.3% chance of winning. So that's what I love about SmackDown. Usos versus Beauty and the Man Beast, for example, I mean, obviously, you got to go with the Usos for this because they're just being built really well as heels. They're killing it. But then again, Beauty and the Man Beast might end up winning. And that could really infuriate the Usos. And the Usos could get to the point where they just want to hurt Beauty and the Man Beast and then ultimately guarantee themselves the championships. You know, Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Like I said, I could see Alexa winning the championship at No Mercy. But then again, I don't really think they take the title off Becky that early. So it's a 50-50 match come Sunday. Cena, Ambrose, and Styles in the triple threat. You know, any of those guys could walk out champion. You know, AJ could walk out champion and go on to fight, I don't know, Randy Orton maybe for the title Survivor Series. Or maybe Samoa Joe if Joe gets called up to the main roster following NXT TakeOver Toronto, or even before NXT TakeOver Toronto. Cena, he can make history, winning his 16th World Championship, tying Ric Flair's record, and then going into Survivor Series to defend the title against Ambrose, and vice versa. Ambrose could become a 2-time champion. If he beats Cena for the championship, that would be crazy. And then they could do the rematch at Survivor Series. Or Ambrose could win, and then AJ, you know, Ambrose could beat Cena. Styles could invoke his rematch clause, and then they could do like a street fight or something at Survivor Series. See, there's so many scenarios that could happen at No Mercy. That's why I'm loving it. That's why I'm very excited for the show. You know, anything can happen. Anything is possible when it's live. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the show. I feel like it could be a really good to great show. Again, I feel like the Intercontinental Championship match with Ziggler's career on the line, I feel like that could be the match of the night with everything at stake. But then again, the triple threat match could be the match of the night. The SmackDown Women's Championship match could be a really good to great match. They could tear it up. You know, they could be the second best match of the night. I'm just really excited, guys. And I know SmackDown's going to put on a good show. I'm just hoping it's a really good to great show because I will be there live. But if it's a really good show or just a good show, entertaining for the 3 hours that it is, and there's only 6 confirmed matches, and then like I said, the Curt Hawkins debut return could be a match. So there's, you know, 7 matches. And if everything goes well, we'll be at the main event right at the start of the 3rd hour. So we'll see. But I'm going to end this video right now, guys. Thank you, John McDermott, for watching. And I do want to thank anybody else who watches this video after the stream concludes. I am Robbie1 Kenobi. As always, like, comment down below with your predictions for No Mercy, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with your friends. And until then, I'll see you guys in the future. I'll see you guys later for my next video, whatever that may be. I may do real quick. I will do a No Mercy review, but I might do like a live reactions video where I'm just like filming a 3-minute video as I'm walking through the parking lot, just talking about what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, what I felt could have been better, what I felt was great. So yeah, until then, guys, this is Robbie1 Kenobi signing off. Everybody have a good day. Enjoy No Mercy. Enjoy NXT. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace.